Let's say you've got a sales team who's looking for a single dashboard that shows Salesforce pipeline and open ServiceNow tickets per account, with each rep getting their own view. This is a pretty standard ask for an internal tool, and one that we could build a few different ways. Let's give the same prompts to Replit and Retool side by side and compare their approaches. We've already wired up Salesforce on both sides ahead of time, so we can focus on what each platform does with the connection rather than clicking through OAuth prompts. Now, let's actually build. We'll use the same prompt on both platforms and see them both get to work. On the Replit side, agents spinning up a full React app from scratch, complete with an auth library, front-end framework, back-end routes, and its own database schema. On the Retool side, components and queries are getting wired up against the Salesforce resource we already have. A couple of minutes later, we've got two working dashboards. Both pull from Salesforce, both show the pipeline, and both look pretty reasonable on the surface. Here's where it gets interesting. Let's pull up Replit's own docs on the Salesforce connector. It says the connector works with one Salesforce account, yours. Every query from this dashboard, no matter which rep is logged in, runs as the builder. Salesforce's audit log on the other end is going to show that one person did everything. Over in Retool, the same OAuth flow has a per user option. Each rep authenticates as themselves, queries run as them, and Salesforce's sharing rules and audit logs just work the way Salesforce expects them to. This is the difference we're going to see all the way through. Replit's building this like a product talking to Salesforce with one service account, whereas Retool's building it like a tool that acts as the person using it. Internal tools are most valuable when they touch more than one system. Let's add ServiceNow tickets to the dashboard. In Replit, there's no native ServiceNow connector, so the agent's going to write custom REST calls and ask us to paste an API key into secrets. Replit encrypts secrets, but anyone with edit access to the project can read the value, either in the UI or by printing it from code. Once the key's in place, the agent wires ServiceNow into the dashboard. A new column shows up with open tickets per account. With the same ask at Retool, we can use the native ServiceNow resource, and we're done. Then, a quick prompt wires it into the dashboard the same way. The same goes for Workday, NetSuite, Oracle, and SAP, which are the systems internal tools actually run against. And in Retool, we can hook each of these up and have their credentials injected at runtime, while the actual secret stays on the Retool server and stays secret. The builder never sees it. Let's talk about who actually gets to use this dashboard. In Replit, we can absolutely say only the sales ops group can open this dashboard. And on the enterprise plan, an admin can even centrally set up a connector once and scope which groups get to use it. What it doesn't have is anything beneath that. There's no platform layer that enforces that Rep A sees only her accounts and the VP sees the whole region. That functionality has to live in whatever code the agent generated. In Retool, permissions live at the resource layer. Server-side filters run before any data reaches the browser, and the platform enforces these permissions instead of the AI-generated code that you have to hope was built correctly. And if permissions ever do fail, you need to be able to find out who saw what. That's where audit logs come in. Replit's audit logs cover events that happen within Replit itself, not what happened at the query or the resource level. Combined with the fact that identity is shared in the Salesforce resource, Salesforce's logs are going to show the builder did everything, so nobody can answer the question of what happened to the Salesforce data and when once the dashboard gets in the hands of more than one person. In Retool, every query against every resource is logged automatically. User, timestamp, parameters, and what came back. That's there by default because that's what enterprise tools need. Both dashboards work and they look pretty similar on the surface, but underneath they're different categories of software. Replit built a web app with its own users, its own service account, its own UI, and no record of what anyone did inside of it. Retool built an enterprise-grade tool with identity and governance at the forefront. So if you're trying to build internal tools that connect to your data and run inside your environment, that's what Retool's for. Everything you've seen here is available today. Just head over to retool.com to get started.